He's first. Not a great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. Look, Boston sports is hot again. We're trending. We've had a fantastic month of April, and I'm going to start with the Boston Red Sox for the first time in, it seems like, 2 years. Boys, we're 12-6 with the surprise of Major League Baseball. We, other than the Dodgers, we have the best record in Major League Baseball. Look, we could never have expected this so early. A pleasant surprise.
We know somebody who called for this, don't we?
I called for it, absolutely. But I didn't think, no, I have to be honest with you guys, I didn't think it would come together this early. But we have a very nice combination of veteran players, a couple of stars, and some young players. And we do have a crap manager, but otherwise, it's coming together because we have a nice combination right now, and they all seem to like each other despite Alex Cora.
But let me say one thing. If they were going to take the manager of the year vote tomorrow, who do you think would win, fellas?
I know.
Oh, that would just be a disgrace.
What we see, is this reality or is this a mirage? You know what I mean? Is this starting pitching? Is it for real, or are they going to become their baseball character? You know, as we like to say on the show.
Well, you know, look, they're probably not as good as 12-6, but I don't think they're bad. You know, I mean, they've got talented starters, and they have a very, you know, this is why Scotty said 90 wins. This is why I echoed him. They have a very versatile, flexible, athletic team who, you know, I don't think he's used the same lineup twice this year.
Yeah.
And every night it's a different guy.
Well, I can go along with the offense, but it's the pitching that really, you know, I just don't see this pitching continuing to do what it's done.
Well, when the heat of the summer comes and the hitters really start going again, they might not do as well. But hopefully then we have reinforcements with Seal.
Right. Well, look, they've got depth in pitching, so they can bring up Houck.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
They've already said they're stretching out Whitlock, as they want to be able to throw him for 5 innings if they need to. And then hopefully Sale comes back. And that's even before you get to a trade deadline acquisition.
And look, Duran, to me, when Jared Duran comes up, he's going to stay. He, at the very least, his bottom is Jacoby Ellsbury. That's what I truly believe. His bottom is. But when all of a sudden you bring Duran up there and you stretch out the lineup now, and you don't have Marwin Gonzalez playing every day, you don't have Hunter Renfroe and Kiki playing every day, you put them back in the roles they have, all of a sudden, you're stronger, you continue, Sale comes back, you, like you said, Russ, Heim makes an acquisition or two at the deadline. Now all of a sudden, you're in the playoffs and you're competing for a World Series. Can you believe it?
Yeah, Timmy, I think basically I look at this staff right now and say, get us to June, right?
Right.
And then we'll see what happens.
Right. Nick Pivetta he's a train wreck going somewhere to happen. I mean, you could just tell. Right? You know,
He's an innings eater. He's, you know,
no, but you feel like he's just going to quit right there on the mound at some point when he can't throw a strike at all. He's just going to rip his uniform off, leave it there, and walk off. I mean, that they've got some quality starts from Nick Pivetta. Wow, that's house's money stuff.
Yep, totally.
You can't
agree.
expect that. So yeah, and Matt Andres from guy from 4.5 earned run average in his career. He's pitched lights out. He's another guy, Russ, a swingman, so he can start if you need to.
That's right. That's
or give you
exactly
3
right.
innings, you know, like one of those bullpen games.
So Heim Bloom, got to give him credit. The man is Rule 5 draft king right now. He's got, we've talked about Garrett Whitlock before, stealing him from the Yankees. This kid, if he stays healthy, looks like he's going to be a stud. But he got Christian Arroyo last year on a shortened season on the Rule 5 draft. Arroyo was a first-round pick for the Giants in 2013, boys, out of high school. He's only 25. Is he the starting second baseman for the future of the Boston Red Sox?
Let's hope so. He's looked good so far in the early going. I don't see anything that would stop him.
You ride these guys as look, even if it's a hot streak, you ride it as long as you can, and then you don't hesitate to yank him out of the lineup and put someone else in, right?
Yeah.
Kike in there.
Yeah, or you guys have like Michael Chavis coming, from Worcester and guys like that.
Exactly.
Look, nobody's Mookie Betts. And if you watch that catch he made to save the game, that felt like Julian Edelman in baseball. That's how remarkable that was. But Verdugo, loved it. Now that I'm finally watching him play for these 18 games, love his energy, love his ability. He's at very least, like you said, a Trot Nixon.
I think so.
Real good at bats.
Yeah, I think he competes hard. He's a lot of fun. The team clearly likes each other. They clearly like Cora. Look, I know you don't like Cora for obvious reasons, but Cora he's the right guy to manage this team. He's got them believing again. I mean, it's palpable.
Yeah,
he's the straw that stirs the drink. He lets them wave to each other from second base.
Right.
Have the hand run them up and down the dugout in the hamper and all that stuff. He fosters teamwork.
Look, Timmy, he's very organized. He organized a conspiracy for 2 straight years that won 2 World Series. So clearly this guy knows how to organize shit. But right, absolutely, I will give Cora this, that he's not screwing it up.
He's got their ear. There's something about him that he likes. And I think it doesn't hurt that he's a Spanish-speaking guy. Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of guys in this team who are, Latino. And I think that goes a long way with especially the younger guys. He can really communicate with them. He doesn't need a translator there, to talk to them. I think that helps.
Yeah, look, it's true. Obviously, he can yell at Devers. I don't know if it makes any effect on him, but he clearly doesn't sugarcoat it when it comes to Devers and Erod. And I like that stuff. And he's allowing Xander to be the leader of the team I love Xander. And I want this guy to retire as a Red Sox. He's done everything right since he came up.
It was a big home run last night.
Yeah. I think he's really emerging as the leader of this team.
Yep. Yeah,
and that probably gave them the ability to feel confident getting Mookie Betts out of here, knowing that they had Xander behind him.
He seems to be stepping comfortably into that role.
They knew they couldn't sign Mookie, and they could get some prospects for him. It was a win all the way around.
All right, boys. Bobby Dahlbeck. I love having rookies up, right? This is what we do. We love watching Red Sox rookies play. Just feels like he's first of all, he's a great first baseman. He's fantastic.
He surprised me.
He's saving Devers. I just want to mention about Devers. Have you guys ever seen a third baseman in the major leagues who cannot make the throw?
I don't think
can't make the throw.
I'm we may see them swap positions. I just don't think Devers is a third. Devers has until the end of this year. Developmentally, you figure about 3-4 years, most third basemen find their defensive game after 3 or 4 years. If he doesn't find it by the end of this year, he's going to be playing first base next year, and Dahlbeck might be playing third.
Now, everybody here has played a little baseball. Have any of you guys ever gone through that where you just couldn't make the throw?
Sure, but
I was playing in a men's softball league. I went through a little period of that playing third base. I just couldn't throw it.
He's a major leaguer, Tim. He's 24 years old.
But it's those guys. It's a bizarre thing because I made that throw a million times in my life. All of a sudden I hit a little patch where I just had no confidence where the ball was. So I kind of get what's going on with them. It's like you physically can do the thing, right? But there's something. Just you lose all your confidence to throw it. No, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I kind of understand it,
I know,
but he's starting it from every angle, from sidearm, overhand, underhand, every angle he's making a bad.
Obviously, physically, he's capable of doing it. It's
I don't know. No, I don't know about that. No, all of those guys, even the shortstops in the major leagues, they flick the ball. It's remarkable. They don't even bring the ball back. They flick it to first base like it's nothing, all in one motion. He can't make the throw. Physically, he can't.
It's all up here.
He can't reach. He literally can't reach. He should play in your slow pitch softball league and go from there.
You're saying he physically doesn't have the.
He physically cannot make that throw. Look, even in high school, those guys flick those balls from third base. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know it's not a physically hard thing to do, but I'm saying something has get into his brain where he's just like who went to a Knobloch went through it, right? Couldn't make the throw from second. He had to do underhand tosses. It wasn't that he physically couldn't throw it; it was in his head.
Well, it's embarrassing. I cringe every time the ball's hit to third.
Oh, I do too. I'm not saying I like it, Scotty, but I'm saying I can kind of relate to it.
And we grew up with Butch Hobson. You know, you couldn't sit on the first base line. You'd have to sit there with a freaking shield because the guy was throwing the ball over the first baseman.
I mean, he had elbow injuries. I don't think Devers is any injury. It's probably a combination of the two. He just looks like a first baseman to me. I don't even know.
No question.
I mean, at some point in time, just flip him to first and flip Dahlbeck back. But Dahlbeck he's got a beautiful swing. He'll hit plenty of home runs. He's been hitting the ball hard. He's just had buzzard's luck.
So Devers goes to first. Where does
Dahlbeck goes to third? Dahlbeck's a great third baseman. That's how we.
Then why haven't they done the switch already?
I don't know.
I mean, Dahlbeck looks like a great fielder, right? I mean, I've seen him track down some foul balls. He made them look smooth and easy, you know, and they were not easy catches, you know.
Timmy, they thought that he would be a Gold Glove third baseman when he came out.
Yeah.
I mean,
the problem is that first basemen aren't as valuable. A big hitting third baseman is significantly more valuable than a big hitting first baseman.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
All right, well,
that's why they always stick the non-fielding big hitter is at first, right? That's where you hide him, his fielding prowess.
Yeah.
Well, boys, of course, the show's called the Grandstanders, and we're back in. All four of us are back in, full season ticket plan. We never skipped a beat. Think about it. We never had a game.
Welcome Uncle Joe to the club.
Yeah, well, of course, Uncle Joe's that. Yeah, we truly now the Grandstanders. Section 30, row 6. Everyone come visit. As you know from the Section 8, we can't describe it.
Housing section.
I wish we could describe the chaos the last 20 years in Section. Rusty's just
my highlight is the Twins and the Jeans. That's all I can say.
Well, our last game there was no in the 2018 season, the World Series game 2 will forever live in infamy. Absolutely. All right, boys.
You said something great to me. You said when we won the World Series that year, you said this is what it feels like to be with 35,000 people that just won the lottery.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it felt like.
It sure did. All right, go to the Celtics, boys. 6th place, 31-27. It just shows you when they're all so bunched up, you can't afford to lose a game. You can't definitely afford to lose a game to the Chicago Bulls. They did both at home. That could cost them in playoff seeding.
Yeah, you know, any of these things could cost them. You have to desperately, you can't be the 7th seed. You've got to be in the top 6 or else you're in a play-in game. And you really
end up with nothing.
Right, and you really want to be 4th or 5th because if you're 6th, you're going to play the Bucks in the first round. So they've got to just get themselves into the 4th or 5th seed, and it's going to be a dogfight because they're injured all over them. I mean, they didn't have their 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th best players the other night when they played Chicago.
No, absolutely. They still should have won, though. You still got to,
Yes and no, but I mean, like, at what point in time do you actually admit that when you don't have your 3rd through 6th best player on it, in your team, and the rest of your guys are
and 1 and 2 are injured.
And 1 and 2 are injured, like, I don't know. I kind of give them a break the other night.
Well, it was so much fun listening to Danny Ainge. I can't believe he did the whole freaking game. Look, what are you talking about, Joe? He said, how many times did he say that defense isn't giving any effort? He might as well have said that our coach isn't doing his job. I mean, I thought that was extraordinary. This is the general manager of the team.
Why do you have him? He can't talk about anyone on the other team or anyone in the league.
I know.
How does that guy be a color guy? That's ridiculous.
Well, you didn't enjoy having him do the color?
No, I thought he sucked. And Scal was no play-by-play guy either.
Well, Scal was just
it was just one game. Just to hear somebody else's voice for one game is fine.
I loved it. But what I'm saying, look, he was saying we're not giving effort on defense. I mean,
he's more like a fan. The interesting thing I got from that, he's more like a fan than anything else. Like he was actually more of a emotionally attached to individual outcomes of plays than even I was. Right?
You're calling him Romy? Romy. I felt like we were watching a hockey game, right? Shots.
He loves his draft picks, you know that.
Oh, he does. Oh my God. It just shows you why he didn't trade Langford. He loves him. Oh my God. Of course, he doesn't have a position, Timmy, right? I still don't know what Romeo Langford does when he's on the court.
Without a country.
I know.
Well, there was several articles the next day, because Stevens mentioned it, that they're going to look at him as like an Evan Turner type ball handler, which, by the way, wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, if you can't shoot at an appropriate level in the NBA, then you better be able to handle the ball and distribute. He could actually be an interesting fit there.
And would we have him defending against guards then?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think he'd be a beast, defending guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just too small.
Too small to be guard, 6'8" guys. He just doesn't have the size,
Yeah, but at least he gives an effort. I have to say that about Neesmith too. These kids both give great efforts when they're on the court. So that's at least one part. We saw the guys like
Romeo on the defensive end as a guarding a guard. I think that's a big uptick defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we saw guys like Sullinger, and Russ's favorite person in the whole world, James Young. We saw guys like that give absolutely no effort as first round picks. So at least we got that part of it. All right, look, if everybody is healthy, boys, and the Celtics go into the playoffs, is the pressure on Brad Stevens to produce?
Well, they're going to play if they got, the players to play.
If we look at realistically the talent level, I mean, where are we really talent-wise in the league? Are we 7th?
No.
7 to 12, I mean?
In the league, yes.
In the
No,
NBA,
I think we're better than that. I think, look, this is a team that
No.
we went to the finals last year.
Yeah, but hang on.
7 in talent, Scott?
Yeah.
Better than that.
In the entire NBA, I think that's about right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that, guys.
Maybe it's only a couple in the East, but there's a bunch of teams in the West.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, now that Murray's out for Denver, I think everything's wide open.
well, no, I mean, you're
both LA.
I'm just talking about the teams without, if they have their full contingent. You know what I mean? Full contingent versus full contingent. We're not sniffing the top of the league right now.
we're the fourth best team in the Eastern Conference, right? And where that means we're going to have to upset somebody to get into the Eastern Conference Finals. That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I just think the talent level is really high. When you take into account,
Let's unpack that for a second. Yeah, we got two incredibly talented wings, but Kemba's talented, but he's a shell of himself, right? Marcus Smart he has warts all over him.
Yeah,
Time Lord could be terrific, but
he is terrific.
He needs another couple of years.
He's not. You cannot put Time Lord in an NBA game for 32 minutes and expect him to hold his own against a top center in the NBA. He's just not there yet.
No, but if you have a combination of Rob Williams and Tristan Thompson, I'm very comfortable in the center.
Fine, it's in the top third of the league. I agree with you, but they're going to get dominated by some centers. They just are.
The fact is, Russ, it comes down to the stars in the NBA, and Tatum and Brown are getting to a level where not just having one is wonderful, having two should bring you into the upper echelon each year.
Yeah,
I don't think either one of them are quite there yet.
Top 10.
Oh, Jason Tatum's there. He's there. I mean, how many guys have scored 40, 50 points a game?
We look at Steph Curry and like the intensity that he brings to every game. We look at Kevin Durant, the intensity that he brings to every game. We look at LeBron, the intensity he brings to every game. Giannis, the intensity. I don't put Jason Tatum in that category yet.
Well, the first three might be in the top 10 players of all time.
I know, but they're playing.
Right.
Playing in the league though right now, and
LeBron.
We saw what Philly center the dominance that he can have out there. Tatum can't dominate like that.
What are you talking about? He can dominate. The guy, if you can score 50 points and then you can follow it up with a 40-plus point night, you're a special player.
Maybe I'm just still reeling from the Philly games.
I know. That hurt. And I know.
Look, when
You've been
Tatum's
questioned, Tim.
I was crushed that night.
when Tatum's in a zone, he's a top 10 player in the NBA. He's been in a zone for the last few weeks. And you just hope that it was COVID and he finally got over it. And this is the Tatum that we can expect, because I really do believe, like, as Tatum goes in these playoff games, that's how the Celtics will go. I really believe that at this point.
Look, Kawhi Leonard won a title, and it was Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
And a bunch of guys.
So we have to see Tatum be that guy all the time.
And that's the next level of superstardom.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly right. Like those guys, they will have one bad game in 8 or 9. And when Tatum gets to the point where he's having one bad game in 8 or 9, then he's at that level of superstar. But he's not there yet.
And
He doesn't have the consistency of that kind of player.
he got poked a few times after that horrendous Philly game, and it got him pissed off, and he turned it on. Let's see if he can sustain it. Then I'll give him a pat on the back.
But
There you
Scott,
go.
getting back to your original question, if they're all healthy, I will be. They're going to play in the second round. They're going to play in the second round unless there's an upset. The Nets, Philly, or Milwaukee, and that's going to be a really tough series, and that's because they're a 4th seed and not a 1st or a 2nd seed.
Yeah, we'll probably be okay if they lose to the Nets. Maybe the Sixers, probably the Bucks.
I would expect them to beat the Bucks. Like
Yeah.
I would be disappointed if they were to lose to the Bucks.
Right, exactly. All right, before we leave the Celtics, Jabari Parker, I like these lottery tickets. We just talked about Whitlock and Arroyo for the Red Sox. Parker's still, 28 years old?
26.
26. He's looked pretty good. Guys, like his personality, can make a comeback and be a quality NBA player. It didn't cost anything. I'd like to see Jabari Parker play a lot before the end of the regular season to see if he can be in the rotation.
Yeah.
Got a ton of moves, doesn't he?
Yeah.
For someone who's had a couple of knee operations, he's still got it there.
He actually looks like he lost some weight.
I really enjoyed watching him.
Yeah, he didn't look good in a basketball uniform the last couple of seasons.
I don't think it's a coincidence that they signed him the day after the bench came in and nearly blew that game. I think Danny and Brad got together and looked at this team and said, these guys are useless in the playoffs. We need an 8th man or a 9th man in the playoffs. And we got to get somebody in here who knows how to play NBA basketball night in and night out.
Yeah, I'm going to have a nice fun boat trip. And it's going to be Edwards, Waters, Taco, Shemi, Cornette, and Grant. And we're going to push him to freaking sea, and that's going to be it for him.
I don't agree with you on Grant. I don't agree with you on Grant. If you play him in a small ball center, he's fine. Everything else, he's a disaster.
He's been playing much better of late, almost like he did in the playoffs.
He has.
Oh, he's a freaking charity case at this point. Oh, my God. Rah for Grant.
You're never going to get offense out of him.
Tough to watch. He's not an MVP.
Defense.
He's comfortable. He's playing in Portland for the Red Claws. I mean, absolutely. All right, go to the Patriots. I don't know if you heard of them. The draft is a week from tomorrow. I can't wait. Guys, it just feels like there's not going to be any moves by the Patriots until draft night. And I have no idea what the hell they're going to do.
Now, my outlook on this is they have a chance to get an absolutely incredible defensive player.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I mean, maybe the second best college player coming out of the entire nation. Somebody who they deem
maybe the best him, because like the Giants and the Cowboys are going to take cornerbacks.
Yeah.
That's going to leave the front 7 guys who we need. Front 7 guys.
So who's the kid, the cornerback who's going to go first there? He's
There's 3 of them that can
Surtain? Is it Surtain?
Surtain.
Yeah.
So you're going to have your choice. I mean, the Patriots very possibly could have their choice of the best lineman or linebacker in the entire nation.
There's talk about it, Russ, that they would trade up, and then everyone would think it was going to be a quarterback, but it might be one of the stud guys that even this guy, the offensive lineman too, that if he drops. there's a lot of stuff in play, but Lombardi said that Justin Fields will drop. The Michael Lombardi, the buddy of Bill Belichick, says that he
Well, it
thinks.
came out today. He has epilepsy.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, he has epilepsy, but it's controllable, and everyone else in his family kind of has had it, and they've grown out of it.
This is the same guy who was raving about N'Keal Harry, right?
Look, I think it's simple what he should do. He should take the absolute best football player who's available at 15, no matter what position he plays. I don't care. Like if he
Position in need.
honestly, I mean, they just take the absolute best football player. If it's a cornerback, if it's a defensive lineman, if it's an offensive lineman, it's a quarterback. Just don't take a running back. No running backs. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
I just saw a consensus draft that, a guy on a spreadsheet put together like 1,500 drafts, and it comes out that the Patriots will take Mac Jones at 15.
I'm looking at one right here. They got them taking Trey Lance.
Yeah, it's good. I tell you something. This is so anticipated. Look, when's the last time the Patriots had a pick like this? We had 15. We're never 15, right? We're always at the bottom.
I don't think we're going to be drafting at 15. If I put a gun to my head, I think he's going to trade down like 5 spots.
He'll probably pick Pitts and probably pick another tight end.
He'll trade
No,
down.
pick a shitty quarterback.
He'll trade down 5 spots, right, Joe?
I wouldn't be surprised. He could still probably get the defensive player he wants there, or a receiver if he wants there. He'd pick up that second-round pick that he loves to take a gamble on.
I'm totally expecting to be bummed out when I hear the Patriots have traded their 15th pick for the 22nd pick and the second pick in the second round or something like that. I totally see that.
Yep.
If I had a bet on it right now, that's what I'll bet.
All right, if you guys have to bet your house right now, Cam Newton or Jimmy G will be the quarterback on opening day. You have to pick one. Which one would you pick?
I pick Cam Newton.
Jimmy G.
Even if they get Jimmy G, Cam might still be the opening.
It's going to be Jimmy.
No, what are you talking
Jimmy
about?
G.
Cam Frank's going to hold on to him for a long time, trying to get like at least a second out of him.
I think San Francisco is going to get their guy, and Bill Belichick calls him up and on draft night and says, I'll give you our second rounder and a 4th next year. And, that's as good as you're going to do for Jimmy G. You don't have a quarterback controversy off the bat.
It's $24 million.
I think there's a possibility of reciprocation, kind of Belichick did them a solid. I mean, is he expecting the same in return from
I don't know if he's expecting.
Yes, he is.
But
Russ, it builds on your theory. If you traded down 7, 8 spots, picked up a second-round pick, there's your second-round pick.
here's your second
Send
round.
over to Jimmy G.
Give him a second and a third or second and a 4th or something like that. And just say, come on, Shanahan, like you're never going to do better. You're not going to do better than this.
A third next year, one of the compensation.
Right. Exactly. What do you
move on. All right, boys, to end it, we got to talk to the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
Look, Timmy finally got a person that he loved almost his whole life in Taylor Hall. And Taylor Hall finally came to Timmy. And Timmy got older and more wiser. Taylor Hall has come to the nest. He's looked really good.
Now, I would not be surprised if he's going to some of those meetings that I go to right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I would not be surprised.
You have a great sense of that stuff. I
kind of has that written all over it. Here's a guy who came in with superb talent, a #1 pick in the entire draft.
MVP a few years back.
MVP. And you saw a dramatic decline that there was really saying there was a knee injury and there was some explanation for that, but not enough to really turn him into what he turned into. And I don't know. I'm just I'm totally guessing here, but after the Bruins player that went to Edmonton, I saw some of his interviews, and I think he was referencing Taylor Hall. He didn't say it, but there was a lot of partying going on there and a lot of really not taking the game as seriously as it should have been taken. And that kind of has the earmarks of, maybe imbibing a bit too much. I would not be surprised if he's kind of getting his act together right now. and
Wow.
he might have a revitalization of his career.
Wow, that could be the story of the NHL season, Russ. We still have a chance to take the East. You know,
It's one of the best examples of just teams need new energy at the deadline late in the year. And, you know, all three of them come in and start playing well, right? And then you throw in a young goalie who got hot and all of a sudden, right, and energizes Tuca, because Tuca's sitting there saying, this guy may end up starting in the playoffs unless I play well. And all of a sudden, the whole team's got a new lease on life.
You know, on Hall's, one of the goals he scored, he went 5-hole. And only, in my book, real goal scorers shoot for the 5-hole. Yeah, I mean, you get a schmuck like me, I'm looking to pick the corners, and I never was successful at it. Like, half of Marchand's goals and half of Pasternak's goals are 5-hole. Like, that's where the real goal scorers look to shoot. And that's where Taylor Hall went with one of those goals.
Bruce Cassidy, I just love him as a coach. You know, I will watch his press conferences, and that I won't watch Brad Stevens. I sure won't watch asshole Chorus, but I will watch Bruce Cassidy. Guy, very open, very honest about what's happening, what the players' evaluation. I just think, you know, the Bruins are in great hands.
No, the NHL in general, these coaches are not afraid to throw guys under the bus at all.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the culture in the NHL. You could not get away with it in the NBA. You just couldn't. I'm sorry. Like, you'll get rejected.
Brad Stevens looks like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Yeah, they have to, you know, you say one bad word about Kyrie, he's taking the next week off.
That's exactly right.
Or he's looking to get traded, and he's, you know, James Harden gaining 50 pounds, you know.
NHL coaches are much more like soccer coaches. Nobody will throw a player under the bus like a soccer coach. Nobody.
Oh my God, great segue, Russ, to our last subject. Boys, I don't know if you've been following this. I mean,
how could you not be following?
The whole premiere. There was a guy when I was went to the on Patriots Day. There was a kid out there with a poster board protesting the Premier League. What happened with the Premier League? I'm like, I've never seen that before.
What's better than watching a billionaire grovel in a video?
Oh my God, they totally gave in 2 seconds. It's unbelievable.
I don't know. I don't know if you saw this tweet, but Bill Simmons wrote, he's not on Twitter anymore, but he made a return, and he sent the video of John Henry, and he says, I can't remember John Henry's apology video when he took a huge messy shit on the Red Sox fans by trading Mookie Betts. Is that one coming next?
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Just all of this. I mean, they had no sense of the reaction of fans at all.
These English fans make us look like pansies, I'll tell you that right now. They were ready to, you know, burn down that city.
Yep.
And
it really disgraceful.
It doesn't help that John Henry's an American either. That does not help at all.
None of those guys. I don't think any of those owners are British. I don't think any of these owners are natives of their.
Russian billionaires.
Stuff like that.
I think only the Italian team. Agnelli owned one of the Italians. I think Agnelli owned the Inter, but other than that,
I don't blame these guys. I don't know, you know, the whole tradition of English soccer and the whole world soccer scene, but boy, it seemed to make sense, that deal, from a business standpoint. I mean, you got your 12 big money makers.
They forgot. The problem is you can't forget the fans. You can't forget the fans.
See, it's so different here. The NHL guys, the MLB guys, they all get, like, you know, $5 billion if a new team comes into the league, or whatever it is, $1 billion, you know, for a franchise to enter. So they're all in on it. It's a whole different layout over there. You have to win your way into the leagues, right?
Yeah. It just felt like the Baltimore Colts leaving in the dead of night. You know, that kind of surprise factor. It was like a soft target, and then all of a sudden they throw that at fans. But I'm glad the fans spoke and they changed.
Yeah,
and,
great.
That will never happen again.
Would make a change like that, and then they would tell the fans why they like it.
Yeah.
You know, John Henry's the only owner who has come out and publicly apologized.
Yeah, John Henry.
I give him a little credit for that.
He's got issues. All right, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank Corbin behind the scenes. Want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com. And hey, tune in next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.